It's Helen Pritchard here from Blue Sky Digital. Just thought I'd film a quick video to talk about social recruitment and our social recruitment workshops. One of the things that I get asked a lot about is what happens on the day. So what I really love about doing the social recruitment workshops is getting the team together. So we normally have a team of up to 5 people from a company who either come to us here in Warrington or we'll go to their offices. What's really powerful about doing the workshop is getting the hiring team together. So sometimes it's HR team, sometimes it's recruitment, sometimes it might be a recruitment agency, but we get the people who make the decisions on who to hire and when and what kind of people that they're looking for next. So what's really useful is getting everyone together out of their normal kind of day-to-day operational jobs and getting them in one room around a table to really think about what's worked really well in terms of the people they've recruited in the past and particularly what hasn't. So from them we can kind of work out exactly the types of people that they are looking for. So traditionally we'd have a job spec, a job description, a person spec, and try and find people using maybe job boards or agencies or through their own networks or perhaps LinkedIn. But what we do is work with them to understand why somebody would want to come and work for them and particularly who they really want to get into the team. So it's much more about culture fit and attitude rather than skills and looking at something on their CV. So we sit down and really talk about the types of people that fit into the team they're going to go to and we really delve into that person. So right down to we create a persona. So this is one of the first things that we do. Once we've discussed, what's worked well and what's not worked well, the needs of the business and why they really want to recruit the next person or the next people, we do a persona planning exercise. So who exactly is their dream candidate? So it could be that we give them what we do, we draw them out and we give them a name and we really look at, yes, what skills do you want them to have, what do you want them to be good at, where maybe have they worked before, but also who are they, what motivates them, are they married, have they got children, have they got, what kind of work do they love doing? What do they do in the spare time? What do they read? Where do they go socially? What apps have they got? What do they drink? Where do they go on holiday? What's their, relationships with their co-workers and that kind of thing. Really drill down into this person as a person rather than as you would look at a CV as sort of words on a piece of paper, and really build up this person of what is it that motivates them? What is it that really compels them to go to work? And what's really interesting is we talk to the people around the table about why they chose to come and work for the company. So what were they doing before? What did they see that made them want to apply? Now they're in, if you like, what do they love about working in the company? What kind of things are really important to them? And what's really interesting is it's quite often nothing to do with money. So it's very much about either the people or the team, or it could be other rewards other than just your salary. So a really good example of this is a client that we work with who were a recruitment agency, and they wanted to attract really sort of hungry salespeople in who would fit into the culture, which was quite young and trendy and sort of central city centre and lots of young people, and they did want people who were sales motivated and wanted to kind of attract people who really would fit into that culture and not people who would find that just not for them. Because obviously if you get people in and the culture's not for them, then you lose people and that becomes kind of frustrating for everybody. So we spoke to we interviewed all their staff, well not interviewed, but we had a chat with all their staff, and one of the young lads there who was, I think he was 24, he'd basically come in, found it quite difficult at first, really got to, really had lots of support from the team, and really when he felt like he couldn't do it anymore kind of thing, he got loads of support and he pushed through that, and now he's one of the top billers. he's taken home a lot of money. He has been around the world with holiday vouchers and things like that that have been given to him as incentives. And we can build up a picture of the story of this guy and make sure that we use that as part of the story. So another example is a client of ours who looks for support workers, and they wanted to attract more male support workers as well, just because the children in their care are predominantly male, and they wanted great new support workers, male and female, but they really felt it'd be good to attract men to create positive role models for the children. So we went in, and one of the staff there was an ex-professional rugby player, which was great. And we talked to him about what he got out of the role and he told us like real interesting stuff about how, he never thought career in care was for him, and he'd always been like, a man's man, and he thought it wasn't, quite for him. But since he's been working there, he's really found it really rewarding. He goes out, rowing and climbing up mountains and taking the lads out, to, the older ones, they go off, for something to eat, and he becomes part of the family and that kind of thing. And that was really useful. So really understanding what your staff, if you like, get out of the job. So that's what we're doing. That's one of the first things that we do at the workshop, is really get to understand the company, the people within it, what the biggest frustrations are with recruitment. So it might be that they get loads of people, but they're not quite the right quality, or they get people come in and then they leave because something's happening in that kind of candidate process. And that's really illuminating. I think probably one of the biggest values that people get from the workshop is having everybody in that room to kind of get it all out, like literally, like physically, as well as like metaphorically out on the table. Who are we? What do we stand for? What's great about us? And what do people get out working with us? And then the next part of the process is, once we've really defined down into these personas, not always just one, normally there's 2 or 3 types of people that would be great for the role. We try and work out what triggers those people. So the key element of social recruitment is that it attracts passive candidates. So when I say it helps you hire better people faster, what I mean is it helps you find candidates who aren't actively seeking work. And for me, could be wrong, I'm open to debate over it, I think that does attract people who are motivated and loyal to their work, in that they're going to work every day, they're not actively job seeking, looking for any job or looking for another job all the time. However, they are open to a move if it's the right move. So they will actively engage with a role if it's presented to them and it's right for them. And then they become more engaged and they're more kind of bought into the whole process. And, most people are in, good people tend to be in work. So, and I'm not saying that, no, good people don't come out of work, of course they do. So the thing about social recruitment is that we get to people in their own social media lives. So again, rightly or wrongly, most people are spending a lot of time on Facebook and a lot of time on Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn to a degree, but active job seekers tend to not be actively on LinkedIn. LinkedIn tends to be the active people on there, either business development people or salespeople like myself, or recruiters, or people who use it for online networking. But if you think about your ideal persona or your ideal person, they're probably in work, motivated, going to work, and they are also on social media. So what social recruitment does is puts adverts directly into the hands of people. So when they're like, they're kind of at home and they're, going through, they're not doing it at work, they go home, they're having a glass of wine, they've been to work, they've had an all right day. They like work, but they like the job, but they're not absolutely 100% happy in there. And they're going through Facebook, seeing what the friends are doing, scrolling through, when we can put, luckily for us, because Facebook lets us put an advert directly into their feed on social media. So the next step of the workshop is to really understand what visually, because obviously social media is a visual medium, what visually is going to trigger those people. So it could be that they're motivated by a great environment, or they're feeling some kind of pain in their current job. Maybe they're not feeling valued, and your company offers lots more in terms of like the cultural stuff, or they are frustrated over their pay and you offer lots more money, or they do a long commute and you offer something that's just around the corner. It could be that they are, say, nursing, they're in nursing and they want to go from private back into the NHS, or vice versa. There might be something triggering them to make a move, or you might just hit on something that's going to really motivate. You've got great incentives, or you've got an amazing, you win awards, or you work with amazing clients. It could be anything. But once we understand what motivates your ideal person, then it's how are we going to create a visual advert that's going to stop them in their scrolling tracks. So like in the olden days, you probably got a couple of minutes of the TV with an advert, a radio advert or something, then you got, just flicking through a newspaper. And now it's kind of in your banner adverts, and now you've got I don't know, I can make it up, but 0.002 of a second as people are scrolling through Instagram or scrolling through Facebook. You've got to be able to stop them in their tracks. Like you've got to have that kind of, as I call it, scroll stoppability of, you've got to stop them. So you've got to create an advert that speaks directly to them, which is why the persona is really important. And the Facebook targeting is really important. Speaks directly to them, gets them to stop, and then the hard work begins really, because then you've got to take them on a candidate journey where they are clicking through and they've found a really simple application process. That's another thing that we talk about in the workshop is what happens next. So yeah, you can find people and they engage with it, what happens next and what happens on that journey. And a lot of people who are in senior hiring roles maybe never go through that journey themselves, so they don't physically follow it through. And until you do that, and we do that together, as part of the workshop, is you look at it with fresh eyes, basically. So if you get yourself into the candidate's shoes and go through that journey, and there are loads of little tweaks and things that we can do on the day that make a big difference to that, definitely. So that gives people something to take back. So we do the persona planning, we do the candidate journey, we do the creative side, and then it goes into the technical bit, which is where it's not really my zone of genius, but that's why we do this workshop. So we have Adam and Georgia, who are two of my staff who are great. So there's me, who's kind of strategy and the bigger stuff. Adam does all the technical side, so he understands exactly how Facebook adverts work, and all the other different types of paid media that you can get involved with. Georgia's our social media exec. She does all the creative, so she understands how to make things look beautiful. So she takes the concept, which is what I do, through to the creative, which is what Georgia does, to the technical, which is what Adam does. And also we talk a little bit about setting up your adverts, how to manage budgets, how to do the targeting at the back end, and most importantly, how to test and measure everything. Because if, like any kind of advertising, if you're not testing and measuring things, then how do you know what's working and what's not? So that candidate journey is really important on the soft side of things. So how do you make people feel when they're engaging with your brand online? So we talk a bit about engagement and attraction and using Twitter and things like that to bring people into your employer branded Facebook channel. We talk about doing open days and how social media can support that. Events, if you go to any hiring events and stuff like that, how social media supplements that. And also, because I'm a LinkedIn trainer, I can always talk a little bit around branding and positioning on LinkedIn and how that works. So we cover all that really. It is a bit of a whistle-stop tour, but by the end of the session, you've got your persona sheets sort of ready, and you understand the process to go through it again, obviously off-site if you need to, for different roles or different departments. There's a bit of element around the creative. We can come up with some creative ideas on the day, which you can again then go and build out yourselves, or we can help with that down the line. Some of the techie stuff, so understand how to use things like Canva and Buffer and Facebook Ads Manager. Get an advert. You should by the end of the session have an advert set up and ready to go. So you can, again, take that back and let that go. And we're there to sort of support you in terms of getting the results from that. And you just go away with a bit more of an understanding of doing things a bit differently. So even if you already use Facebook ads and Instagram ads to recruit, then that's great. I'm sure we can still get together and have a workshop and get a little bit, you know, maybe some more creative ideas, or look at some different avenues, or maybe even some different media, trying different things. If you've never used anything like that before, then we will be gentle with you and just give you the very basics. So we'll hold your hand through the little bits. If you kind of dabbled in it and maybe, you know, you maybe say to somebody, oh, have you seen this workshop? And someone goes, no, we've done Facebook ads, they don't work. I would like to still have a conversation, because I think there's always work that can be done. And I definitely think you need to think about all the elements of a campaign. So your marketing in terms of your targeting and your person, your creative, your journey, and your technical side. So we cover everything. It's pretty laid back. I'd like to think, you know, we take people from where they are rather than where we want you to be. So that's why I am only doing team workshops. So your team could be a small team, it could be team one, I suppose, but I'm only doing bespoke workshops for companies or agencies who want to learn, because we can create the perfect workshop for you. So it might be, depending on where you're starting, we can create something that takes you on to the next level, if that makes sense. So it's not, anybody who knows me knows that I don't do PowerPoint. I don't stand at the front and tell you stuff. I don't have anything kind of prepared in terms of this is what we're going to do. It's much more the three of us get around the table with your guys, and we take you through the next step. So they're good fun, you know, we enjoy it, and it's good work, and everyone's, you know, the feedback's always really good. So I've gone on about that enough. I wanted to come on and do a video, because I think it's really important for people to understand like how passionate I am about what we do here and about social recruitment as a whole. You know, I just want to educate people that it's an option, that it's out there, that it works, that it's the way that the world is. So I hope if you've listened this far, it's been useful. And obviously, if you would like to book a workshop, you can get me on LinkedIn, you can get me on Twitter, BlueSkyDigi, you can get me on Facebook, on Instagram, you can ring me, you can text me, you can WhatsApp me. So yes, so I think if you go to blueskydigimarketing.co.uk, all the options are on there. So thank you very much, have a lovely day. Thanks, bye.